Well, Kamala Harris is not having a great week, and if everything goes well, we will not have to see videos of Kamala Harris in a while, like let's say 8 more days. But this one is worth it. I promise that this one is gonna be worth it. Shared by 9mm SMG, things are going well for Kamala with a touch of sarcasm.
We are fighting for America's future, and we understand the opportunity we have before us to turn the page on the fear
Okay, this is the thing. She was talking about her usual, drivel, whatever she speaks. I have grown desensitized to whatever she says. It's disheartening at some point, but at least we got these examples in which someone began shouting, "No more wars, no more wars," and we see that throughout the Biden-Harris administration. We've had more and more wars and more escalation of conflict because, the warmongers are making bank with everything that is going on in the world. Something that should be, the United States should do what the United States does best, especially during Donald Trump's first term, in which, there were no wars. That should be it. But no, that is not profitable for the warmongers. And then this man began heckling Kamala, well-deserved heckling.
Future. And we understand the opportunity we have before us.
I am not undicing this. I am not, attacking people personally, because shouting "no more wars" is one thing. I agree with that. You can heckle someone like that. But calling them POS, maybe you're entering the ad hominem territory, which I don't know. It's maybe not the right thing to do. But again, maybe the guy couldn't contain himself. He went for it. But this is the kind of things you already saw what happened at the rally in Texas, in which had all these disruptions, and she couldn't react to that. It couldn't be controlled. Happened so many things. And now, she's trying to deal with the public. Deal is, a loose word, because right now we also have this new Kamala accent drops. Something that it could be funny if you're a comedian and you can make many accents. That is fine, but it's not very useful if you are a politician, and especially if you are in such a high stakes election. New Kamala accent drops at a Black Philadelphia church. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. I listened to this. And I'm sorry, my body language buddies. You have to go through this as well. If I did, you will suffer too.
Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning, and church morning is on its way.
I'm going to tell you, for 1 second I thought I was at Meghan Markle's wedding. The third one, that wedding. You know what I'm talking about. Many of you are in the joke. But why? I mean, why would you talk like this? I don't know. Well, maybe she wants to put out her charismatic side. Maybe Kamala. I'm going to be serious for one second. Maybe Kamala had this ability to imitate accents, to change accents and do the stuff and laugh the way she does. Maybe her career was not being a prosecutor, which, by the way, hasn't been really confirmed. No, it has been confirmed. What we don't know is how she ended up in Washington, especially at the White House, and how is she possibly the next president of the United States. There's still a possibility. Even Donald Trump said that on his speech. And so that's why you have to go out and vote. But how does this happen? It's like maybe she could have been an entertainer, and that would have been a better career for her if she like knows how to laugh. Like, can you imagine Kamala Harris on Saturday Night Live? Maybe that would have been a good fit. Maybe, one does those experiments like a time machine, that you go back in time and you move something, and in the current timeline, Kamala is like Kristen Wiig or something like that. Maybe she could have done a good career on Saturday Night Live. Why not? There are people that are very successful there. So, well, no, we got, and maybe in that universe, she's successful, and when that universe, they find out that in this timeline, this path, this fork in the space-time continuum, she's about to become president of the United States, then they would say, yeah, these people are really effed up. These people are really effed up. I mean, it's great that we have the Saturday Night Live version of her, but, well, we got the... There's a possibility Kamala Harris, POTUS, president of the United States. I don't know. I'm saying this. I still have high hopes that Donald Trump is going to win for all that we see in the polls, for the vibe in the street, for everything. I think it was Fetterman that was saying something like that. But, well, talking about polls, Trump War Room, Kamala, my internal polling is my instinct. Ha, ha, ha. It's like I have a machine gun. Ha, ha, ha.
Can you give us a sense of your internal polling at the campaign and how that is making or influencing your decisions on what to do over the next 9 days?
So, to be very frank with you, my internal polling is my instinct. I let the campaign people deal with all that other stuff.
Yeah, can you imagine? Yeah, that's a Saturday Night Live material. That would have been great. That would have been really, appropriate. And in this bizarre space-time continuum, we see that some people really want to, alter our perception of reality. We are talking about quantum physics right here. All Russian, thanks for sharing this. I know that many other people have shared, but there was this picture of an alleged Kamala Harris, a young Kamala Harris with her McDonald's uniform and stuff, ready to go to work. Oh, that is nice. So that disproves, I said that maybe at some point you will get one picture with, those tiny cameras or film camera back then with your uniform. You have some sort of proof that you work at McDonald's. And that is possible. That should be possible. Maybe the records are hard to find. And they said, all right, but then, this is the internet. This is the internet. And there are many people that have so much more time, much more spare time than yours truly. And they made sure to look for the real woman. And this is the real woman. I don't know her name. All right. And, it just so happens that the original picture of the real woman has passed away. But to make things even creepier, again, there's so many things, so many things that we can doubt in this era, that you need solid proof when you're gonna make claims. You need solid proof. And one of the claims, one of the claims that people say about Kamala is that there's a word. I have been, expanding my English vocabulary, and I remember that Alexander Juan Antonio Cortez, big shout out to AJAC on X, great fitness expert, all around fitness expert. He used the word lush, Lush, and I say, what? I have never, I had seen that word when we are talking about hair, when you have a lush hair, all right, but hadn't read that word as referring to a person. What does lush mean? And so those are, the rumors that are going around about why does Kamala Harris act in some ways, and well, Alexander's, the word that he used illustrated the point of many people. Kamala Harris is at a bar pretending to have a beer with Gretchen Whitmer. I just died from cringe. This was from Ann Wogness on X.
Aren't you kind of more of a wine person?
This is like Tim Walz and Doug Emhoff. You're having they were having a cappuccino. It was Tim Walz and Doug Emhoff. We're having a cappuccino, and Kamala is having a beer. I'm gonna sound sexist, but that sounds like odd, right? Why can't everybody have a beer? What is the problem with that? Again, well, Kamala Harris having a beer, that doesn't work. That doesn't work very well. But it's not that I'm complaining, of course.
What are you having, Madam Vice President?
I am having what she's having.
It's an Oberon, and it's made right here in Kalamazoo, which many are calling Kamalazoo. Yeah. Cheers.
Oh, right. This is absolutely, especially, we noticed that the cameraman, it's already tipsy. That's why you see it moving so all over the place. I wanted to use that word, tipsy. It's a nice word.
Cheers.
Great rally. Good. And
Let's have a conversation. We needed a zoom out or something like that, and we needed a say like Shaun of the Dead, like zooming out. I forgot the name of the Cornetto trilogy director. Oh my God, I always forget his name. I don't know why that happens. You remember the director of Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead? I forgot his name. Baby Driver. I know all this. I love all his movies. I always forget his name. I don't know, for some reason. But yes, this is what we are dealing with. This is what we are dealing with. Respecting for your answer, keeping an eye on your comments. Another brown suit. No, Simon Pegg is the actor. I need the name of the director. Why I always forget his name. I love his movies. I love his style of direction. Edgar Wright. I always forget his name for some reason. Thank you, Greg. Greg McHenry had the right answer. Edgar Wright. Yeah. I needed that zoom out of that and into the street, and with music and all that stuff. It would be so nice to get away from Kamala. 8 days. And tomorrow is gonna be like The Ring. 7 days. And if everything goes well, we won't have to analyze Kamala in a while.